Hi, this is Ed Brenniger, Circle of Impact Leadership. I want to announce today the launch of two new ventures that I've begun as my response to what we have been all experiencing as this global pandemic. The first is a series of short books, around 5,000 words in total, that are intended to help us to understand what's transpired and, more importantly, know what we individually can do, as well as what our businesses and our communities can do. The first of these books I have called All Crises Are Local, Understanding COVID-19 Global Pandemic. And this is a book on understanding the global system of organizations and what is transpiring with them. But more so, it's an understanding of the system itself. In this book, I describe a system as an interdependent network of functions within a social or organizational structure. And if that is what a system is, then we're not approaching the solution of this global pandemic as a system. We're looking at it in a very different way. We're treating it simply a public health problem when it is much more than a public health problem. It is a public health problem, it's an economic problem, it's a social problem, it's an institutional problem. It is a relationship between nations problem. It's a problem at every level that you can imagine. And that's what a system is. And we're not addressing this problem from that system's perspective. And so I write about it in the book, and I, in particular, address how you, as an individual, can understand that and respond in a positive and constructive way. The second book that I've written is called Impact Starts With Me, The Path of Self-Discovery. And what is clear to me is that people like you and me and billions of people around the world, it does not serve us well to wait passively for time to return to normal. Because I don't think we're going to find normal for quite some time. Because if what I see, and I write about it in the Circle of Impact, the whole section on transition, there are 3 chapters in there on transitions. What I see is an evolutionary change that's taken place. And an evolutionary change is there is an era that comes to a point of it is fulfilled its purpose, it's reached its maturity, and now it's going to change in such a way that a new era begins. And that's what I have been seeing for a long time. And I believe this is the critical fulcrum point of going from one era to the next right now. And the key to successfully going through this is for people to take personal responsibility and take personal initiative to create impact that makes a difference that matters in their families, in their homes, in their organizations, their companies, their schools, their local governments, and their communities. So I find that what I have in my book, Circle of Impact, is accurate to a T, but what we now need is insight that I have gained in the last 2 years since I released the manuscript to the publisher. There's much that I've learned from you, listening to you, talking to you, and watching what's going on, observing what's going on in the world, and trying to understand it. And so that's what I'm doing with this leadership series. I have 10 or 15 of these books blocked out in my mind. I'm working on the third one, which will be about the transition in the way leadership is conducted in the world. And then the fourth book is going to be on how organizations can build leadership capacity by strengthening and training their people to be leaders. The fifth book is possibly a conversation that I have with a friend of mine who I respect deeply as an important leader and executive coach. There'll be a book on local community leadership. I mean, there's just untold number of books that will be coming over the next several months. The first 5 will be completed by the end of May. And they will initially be available only on Kindle. And if the response is sufficient, then I will then program or produce a paperback version of this also for sale through Amazon. And if so, I will also do an audio version, which also may be very popular. So by end of summer, there may be 10 or 15 of these books that have been written. In June, the second venture begins, which is I'm going to produce a 20-part leadership training program for people and businesses. It is modeled, it's a mirror of what is in the book, but it takes what's in the book and it makes it a practical, here's how you do this kind of approach to the circle of impact. And it'll be ideal for people in organizations who want to build leadership capacity. And with your purchase of this training series, you also get me as a facilitator and as a consultant to help you apply the lessons from the training program in your business. And to understand what that means, it means that we need to be talking not just about elevating people's sense of what they can do. It's to give them skills, but it's also how do we retrofit the structure of the business so that all the people within the business feel the support and they feel the permission and they feel that it is right for them to take personal initiative to create impact that makes a difference that matters. So it's a structure piece, it's a relationship piece, and it's an idea piece, which is the 3 dimensions of the circle of impact. So I'm excited about the possibility of what that could be for you, because it is obvious that we're now at a juncture in human history where we need to step back and say, okay, how are we going to function in the future? And it needs to be different than what we have been used to. And what does that mean? And that is why I'm producing this series of little books. And that's why I'm producing this video series for the development of your people. It's an exciting time, I believe. As hard as it is, I wish we were not in this situation. But what happens when things collapse, and we're in a state of the collapse of global system of institutions. Let's just be clear about that. It's not going to collapse and nothing be there. It is going to create a vacuum which will be filled by your initiative, my initiative, our organization's initiatives, our community's initiatives. It will be replaced by action which will create new strength and new possibilities. So there's an opportunity that is here for us. And I want you to understand that. And so please do not think that you can just wait this out. A passive, complacent approach to change is not helpful and not healthy for you. And maybe you don't know what you should do, but that's a place to start, to admit, I don't know what to do. I have been there, and what you do is you figure it out. And you go look for help. And if you need help, you can come to me, and I'll be glad to do that. I can give you a shortened version of this training program. I can do it in 6 sessions rather than 20, and we can do it directly face-to-face like I am talking to you right now. So the time is here for you to create change, for you and your organizations to build leadership capacity that never existed before, and now it is needed more than ever. And I'm glad to help you do that. So the best way to find out about any of this is to stay in touch with me through my leadership newsletter. If you sign up for my newsletter right now at edbreniger.com, then on Monday, when the next newsletter goes out, Monday, May 11th, you will receive not only the infographic on the 5 questions, but you will also receive the first book in PDF form. And that'll give you an idea of where we're going. So sign up for the newsletter right now so that you can receive the book for free. Otherwise, you'll get it on Kindle for a very nominal charge. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. But even more so, thank you for what you're going to do to help repair and bring healing to our world as we go through this time of great transition. This is Ed Brenniger. Thank you very much, and I'll see you soon.